Thanks very much, everybody, for joining me once again. And I'm afraid once again it's after a defeat for Pakistan. That's four in a row. That's the first time in history that Pakistan has lost four matches in a row at the World Cup. Depressing, demoralising, and not good times if you're a follower of Pakistan cricket. So if we look at today's game, Mickey Arthur in the press conference after the game said that they were 20, 30 runs short. He thought that they should have got about 290, 300, which is absolutely right. I mean, what the approach was for those last few overs when they were comfortably placed, looking at a target of 300, I actually thought about 310 was on, but then it just fell away. Again, you've got to look at the planning, the approach, especially from some of the lower order batters. And that meant that 20 balls weren't used. So Pakistan only batted 46.4 overs. Those 20 balls that weren't used, even if you say 20 runs, there's your 290. And that would have put even more pressure on South Africa. And who knows, they might have ended up winning the game, Pakistan. Absolutely criminal. And just not good enough to not bat your full 50 overs, especially when you were in such a strong position. 225 to 225 for 5 to 270 all out. Last 5 wickets, 45 runs. And some of the shots that they played as well. I mean, what was Mohammad Nawaz doing playing that shot when he knew that he just had tail enders with him? And that's not his game to play those big shots. Instead, he should have just manoeuvred the lower order batsmen with him and put together a few more runs and seen out the 50 overs. And as I said, who knows, 280, 290, 300 might have been on then. I've also got to look at the number of dot balls. 156 dot balls Pakistan played today. So that's more than half the innings. That's actually 26 full overs before you even start looking at the runs scored. So 26 overs of dot balls they played. Again, that is absolutely terrible because of those 156 balls, even if they got another 20, 30 runs from those balls, again, that brings you up to your 300, which would have been a fighting total. Instead, it seems to be a block or four mechanism in the heads of the Pakistani batters at the moment, where instead of looking to rotate the strike, putting the opposition under pressure, it's a case of either block or go for a big shot. And I'm afraid it's just not working at the moment. It seems to be a stubborn style of approach. Instead of looking to be flexible, changing the batting order, manoeuvring players around, looking at the game situation, by and large, the Pakistan batting order and their approach is predictable. Opposition teams know what they're going to do. And I'm afraid it's epitomised by the captain's approach, where a score of 50 was made, but at a strike rate of 80, not good enough. On the other hand, if you look at the South African batter, the main one, Aiden Markram, who made 90 or so, he was batting at a strike rate of 100 throughout his innings. In fact, at one point, it was above 100. Yes, he had to slow down a little bit towards the end of his innings because South Africa started losing wickets. But this is the approach. This is what top order batters are doing for other teams. They're looking to strike at a rate of 100. And instead, Pakistani batters, 70, 80 strike rate again. I'm afraid some players in this Pakistan team are playing for themselves, playing for their rankings above their country. And that is sad to see, because it should always be a case of country first, then individual performances. You get the #1 ranking in batting, bowling, you score a 50, you score a 60, you score a 70, means nothing if your team keeps losing. And that's what Pakistan are doing. So, yes, in my opinion, some Pakistani players are playing for themselves ahead of the team. That's not on, simply not on. Shadab Khan, South Shakil showed some urgency when they were battling. I think South Shakil has proven in this tournament what a fine player he is in this format as well. And I think many of us, I think myself included, thought he was just suitable for Test cricket. But I think he's proved quite a few of his critics wrong. Why they don't send him up the order? Why can't he come in at 3? Why can't Babar Azam open the batting? These are all questions that only the team management and the skipper can answer. In my opinion, I think Babar Azam should be opening the batting with Abdullah Shafiq if Fakhar Zaman isn't available, and Saud Shakil should be coming in at 3. That gives you a bit more flexibility in the batting, and you can even play an extra bowler or another batter further down the order as well. And I'm afraid it's that stubborn, non-flexible, immovable approach from the Pakistan cricket team this time around. Again, that game awareness, that lack of game awareness that we've mentioned before is just not there. Some of these guys are experienced cricketers who've played hundreds of games. You've got the likes of Mohammad Nawaz Jr., who've only played a few games. It was his first World Cup game, and he deserves praise and credit for his efforts. But some of the other guys have been around for a number of years, and they should know better. They should be able to ensure that Pakistan bat the full 50 overs. The bowlers, yeah, they did their best. I don't think it was a terribly good start from the pace bowlers. I know we got Quinton de Kock out early. Why Iftikhar Ahmed had to open the bowling, I've no idea. I guess that was a plan to curtail Quinton de Kock at the top of the order and try and get him out early. But it didn't work because the South Africans were probably half expecting that. So they were one step ahead, as a lot of opposition teams have been over Pakistan at this tournament. But again, it goes back to that lack of flexibility, lack of surprises, lack of innovation from the Pakistan team. So yes, I think Mohammad Wasim Jr. and the bowlers, Haris Rauf came back strongly, Usama Mir came back strongly, Shaheen tried his heart out, but it was all a case of trying to win the game at the end when South Africa were panicking, South Africa were choking. They won't like that word being mentioned again, but the choke was on and they nearly threw it away. Some questionable umpiring decisions as well. Don't think the umpires had a terribly good game. Some strange DRS decisions as well. You could argue the umpire got one wrong where it flicked the South African batter's pad and he gave it as a wide. These games turn on such small margins, and sometimes umpiring decisions can be pivotal in such games. So Pakistani spinners, once again, Mohammad Nawaz had a poor outing with the ball. He's just looked very, very short of confidence in this tournament. He's not been able to stem the flow of runs, which he can do at times, and he just hasn't looked like a wicket-taking option at all. In fact, he's barely spun a single delivery today. Yet, look at Tabraiz Shamshi. Look how effective he was. Look at the wickets he got. Look at the variety. Look at the guile that he bowled the ball with. He was spinning it both ways. He was confusing the batters as well. So, a fantastic performance by him. But again, he's showing up the Pakistani spinners. Aiden Markram, as I said, fantastic innings from him. He's probably regretting the fact that he didn't see the innings through to the end and allowed Pakistan back into the game. But it's one of those things. I think Pakistan only came into the game towards the end of it. Most of the match, they were second best in all facets of the game. I mean, the South African top order batters, their bowlers, the way they fielded, it was all much better than Pakistan. And again, you've got to look at the captaincy and some of the questionable decisions from the skipper, especially giving Mohammad Nawaz the ball at the end. Why not give Usama Mir? I don't criticise Babar Azam for finishing his paces overs because they needed wickets. They knew that the only way they could win the game was by taking wickets. But then to hand the ball to Mohammad Nawaz, who looked petrified, to be honest with you, it was a strange decision. And perhaps Usama Mir would have been the better option there. So, as I said before, 20 balls not used by Pakistan, absolute travesty. Simply not good enough, that. From a team that they knew where their weaknesses were, and to bat first, to win the toss, surely you've got to bat the full 50 overs, haven't you, on that sort of surface. There wasn't anything really. There was a bit of bounce. It was a good true batting surface, and to make 270 all out was just abysmal. So where do we go from here then? 3 games left. Pakistan aren't out the tournament, but let's be realistic. You're relying on other results. It's not going to happen, is it? They're not going to make the semi-finals. I can't even see them winning the last 3 games. I'd be very surprised if they do that. And even so, you're relying on the likes of Australia losing games, and they're hitting form at the moment. You're relying on other results going your way, just like Pakistan were at the last World Cup. So instead of it being in their own hands, you're relying on other teams, same as 2019. It's not a great position to be in. And I'm afraid there's no surprises really, because Pakistan have been very poor. Things looking ahead, I think there's going to be quite a few changes happening in Pakistan cricket, but we'll look at those in a future episode. And I'm afraid it's another sad, depressing day for Pakistan cricket. Yes, it was an excellent game of cricket. Pakistan fought to the end, which they deserve credit for. They fought to the last ball, which fans will be pleased about, but ultimately 0 points once again. Thanks very much for watching. Hopefully we'll do one of these videos when Pakistan has won, whenever that may be. Thanks. Take care.